morning, friends. Welcome to another episode of the Global Women in Leadership. Global Council for Promotion of International Trade, GCPIT, has started this global conversation series with women achievers and leaders to understand their journey, to learn from their experiences, and also to pave the way for more women leaders to join the wagon to create a sustainable change in the society in terms of gender equality, diversity, and inclusion. We have a very special guest with us today to talk about her journey in leadership. She heads the Innovation Technology Transfer Office, ITTO, at the Foundation for Innovation and Technology Transfer, which is a regional office, a regional tech transfer office set up at FITT with support from National Biopharma Mission, a joint project of Government of India and World Bank. The mandate is to cater to the academia, startups, incubation centers. She is a techno-strato legal professional with a unique combined experience in all three spheres, technology, strategy, and law. She has over 14 years of professional experience in innovation management, technology transfer, marketing, strategic partnership, industry engagement, and policy development. She also has 6 years of research experience in governance of technology and bioethics. Her key areas of interest are emerging technologies, synthetic biology, nanomedicine, and traditional medicines. She has a few publications in this field as well. She holds an MBA degree in technology management and is a certified licensing professional, registered technology transfer professional, and a registered patent agent with the Indian Patent Office. She serves on various committees, including Membership Development Committee of Association of University Technology Managers and CLP Exam Development and Maintenance Committee. Her motto is to simplify legal aspects of technology transfer and bridge the gap from lab to bedside. Framing strategies for effective management and negotiation are her strong points, and she believes in empathy and likes to read books and also to cook. She is now one of GCPIT's 100 chosen global women leaders and also the winner of Global Women in Business Awards 2021. Let me proudly welcome Ms. Pooja Bhatia to the show. Welcome, Ms. Pooja.
Thank you so much, Aparna. And it's a pleasure to be with you today in the morning, on a Sunday morning, I would say. And it's a pleasure to be meeting you in person. We have been meeting virtually. But yes, again, it's nice to meet you. And thank you so much for the awards. I'm thankful to the CIMSC and as well as Santosh, who has been working with us for numerous other activities. We have been doing together. We have done 2 conferences together, and it's been a good journey so far.
Amazing to have you with us today, as you said, on a Sunday morning. In the last 2 weeks, I've been interviewing a lot of global leaders and going through their profile really excites me and always puts a smile on my face. It was really amazing to grade through yours too today. And this brought in so much happiness to me on this Sunday morning. And especially to see that you are a very organized person. I really would like to know more on that. But let's start with your early days. When and how did your leadership journey start?
Sure. So I initially was trained to be a scientist. And then suddenly I saw an ad in the newspaper, which kind of changed the entire career path for me. So then I just left my PhD in between. And I took up this IPR training program, which is an on-job training program for 1 year. And after that, I didn't look back. I continued in IP and tech transfer. And if today also, if somebody asks me if I regret leaving my PhD, I always say no. I'm quite happy where I am. But I did again try my hands for the PhD part. And then that also didn't work out because of typical attitude and mentality that a woman cannot manage 2 things at the same time. I would come back to that later, but specifically answering your question. Once this training was over, I moved through different jobs, and then I was heading the IP and tech transfer team at FITT, and we got this wonderful project, which was to kind of ensure there is a change in the Indian ecosystem, innovation ecosystem. And my boss was like, why don't you try it out? Why don't you head it? And I was like, I'm not sure if I can do it. And he was the one, he kept on telling me, no, you can do it. I know you can do it. So I said, okay, fine, I'll try my hand for 6 months. If it doesn't work, then I'll quit. And this March, we are going to complete 1 year. So I think he made the right choice.
Right. That was an amazing journey. So, what do you think the importance of a mentor is in our leadership journeys? As you
I
said,
think it's
it
very
all
crucial.
happens out in us.
Yeah, it's very crucial because sometimes you have doubts on yourself, but there are mentors who would always, support you, give you the confidence that no, you can do it. And if there's anything that goes wrong, we are there for you. So you don't have to worry about it. But more than that, I think it is the confidence that they give you which actually matters, and the trust they have in you, which gives you the more confidence that okay, somebody is trusting me. That means I can do it. So in my case, I would say Dr. Wali, who is my mentor, my boss, my senior at FITT. He is the one who kind of motivated me and has been quite instrumental in getting me from one position to the other. So yes, he has really made a difference in my life, other than my parents and my family. Um, so as a mentor, I also had my grandfather who uh, was a refugee from Pakistan, Sindh. So when there was a division between India and Pakistan, they came down from there. And I have seen him working hard, and he was my first mentor, I would say, to teach that you have to work hard to reach to a point, whichever point you decide. So yes, mentors are definitely crucial, and I always try to help any person who asks me a question or any kind of a help to not to be exactly a mentor, but to I know uh, what exactly feels to be in that position. So then it's always useful to get some answers, some hints from somewhere. So I always try to answer back.
Right. And did you face any barriers in your initial days? Because you just left your PhD, and I can understand the situation. So, did you face any barriers or any issues?
Uh, Generally, in the time when I started off Aparna, it was 2006. And at that time, law was completely dominated by men. And I getting into the men's world was not a very easy job. They would, give you minor things to do, that you can't do law, you don't understand law, you can't do it. So it was like they won't involve you in things, in cases. Nahi, you can't do this. This is just not your cup of tea. So that is one barrier that I had faced, other than what I faced in my PhD, where again they thought that since I have a job and I'm doing my PhD, so I can't have my feet in two boots at the same time. While it's they don't know that a female starts starts multitasking right from her younger age. She can multitask easily. We can wear different hats. We can be a mother, we can be an employee, a team member, a friend. So yes, we are attuned to be multitasking at each and every time.
Right. And you were mentioning, since you are in IP and TT, you wanted me to ask, are there any specific schemes for or options for women in IP and TT?
Right. So me and Rima are trained under the DST's Women Scientist scheme, in which it's an hands job training for the women, and they don't have an age restriction. Like it's right from 27 to 45. So it's a huge frame where anyone from any phase of their life can actually come back. Also, if they have taken a break or something, they can actually come back. So it's a really wonderful scheme and initiative which DST has. It's been running since 2005. I was in the second batch. Right now 11th or 12th batch is going on. So anyone who is interested in going into this field, they should definitely explore the Kiran scheme. Look into it. They conduct exams to select you. So it's not like that, they'll just select you like that. You have to clear an exam to get into the into that program. And other than that, we also have at ITT a few initiatives that we have started. And our associated media channels.
Great. Where can they approach? Is it available online?
Yes, it's there on our LinkedIn page. Uh,
Okay.
they can check ITTO's LinkedIn page. The information is there, or they can write to us at queries.ittio@outlook.com.
Great. Okay. So let me get into the most exciting part, which excited me most. I would like to know how you organize your days. I was really excited to see that you don't have mails on your mobile. You really plan out your day in advance. You have a meal plan ready. It was really like it's my dream to be like that. So, you have a chart on your door. You said, I think all these will be really helpful for many women out there who's really struggling to manage their time. So can you please tell us how you plan your
Sure,
time?
Prerna. These are the small tricks that I have picked up from my mother and my sister. So they used to have a proper planner for the meals, that what is going to be made on each day, so that there is no confusion and none of the kids can fuss. We don't want to eat this and we want to eat that, because the plan is set and that is what they have to eat. So that was kind of taking care of the meal planning part, and it's easier. You know what is to be done over the week. You get few things ready beforehand. I don't have any of my office emails on the phone, uh, because I feel that when you have it on your phone, you are continuously checking to see if there's any fresh email, anything which I have not answered. So it's better not to have it. So then you are not tempted to look at it. And my team members also know that this is their cutoff time. They won't get any reply from me after this time, so they don't message me. They don't, I won't look. I won't even look at my phone, so they don't message me at that time. Um, Other than that, I think every woman is quite capable of coming up with small tricks and trades to deal with it. I would be eager to know, what do you do and how do you manage, if I can use something.
Yes, sir. That's why I was so interested in knowing how you are organized. Most of the time, yesterday I was talking to another global leader. She said most of the time it's a mess, but we organize ourselves in this mess, and we try to do. I spend time with my kids. I spend time watching movies. I spend time listening to music while I'm cooking. I really enjoy whatever I am doing. And I don't think sticking to a plan most of the time it doesn't fit me. But I enjoy my every moment. That is what I do.
Right. That is good,
As you
I would say.
So, and you said, many of the people were telling that you can't have your foot in two boats, but you have tried to prove it wrong. I think most of the global leaders they agree to that, right? And
Yes.
it's something like most of the females can really do. So that also really motivated me. I also do that when somebody says it's impossible. I try to make it
You try to show them that it's possible.
right. So while leading men, have you felt any resistance? That is something.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. There are men who would appreciate having a female as a boss, or as a team leader, while some would not appreciate it. So in cases where they don't appreciate, I try to explain them tasks and things with logic, because that is what men are tuned to do. They understand logic well. So that is what I try to do. But where they appreciate you, then there's no need for explaining or getting anything done. They would really work for you that way. So, but yes, sometimes you do face resistance, and then the only thing that matters is to be patient. You can't do really much about changing anybody's mindset, but at least you can work to make things to improve on it and ensure that the work doesn't get hampered because of it.
Right. And what do you think are the three main traits of a great leader, which you would like to tell the future women leaders?
I think the main thing is to have empathy. uh, Communication, definitely communication is not a one way traffic. It has to go both sides, but yes, you have to be open to communication and connect with people. The more you connect with people, you will learn more from them. uh, there would be more traits to pick up from other people when you talk to them. You'll get other tips. So do communicate, connect, read more books, read about, maybe read articles, so that you know what is going on. You know the jargon to be used, so you will easily connect with others. This is what I would.
Becomes a comes up or our friends or family expects us to be there. So how do you manage those emergencies?
Um, be it my team member or my friend or my family, they know that if there is something urgent, I will be there. Whoever has something urgent to deal with, I will be there. That is foremost important for me. So even if there's some issue with the team members, I also tell them to, just message me or call me. uh, let me know what is the issue. If I can help you with it, I'll definitely do it. So, but yes, sometimes it becomes a challenge if there's an emergency at both the ends.
Right, right. So, and what is your organization culture like? How do you support working?
It was a bit difficult initially to work from home because you're not used to working from home, and then there are other responsibilities as well. So that way we could help each other to come up with a schedule which is workable for all of them. So it wasn't a foundation for them to work between 9 to 5. We gave them the freedom to work whatever suits them. At the end of the day, the task should be done. So however they do it, it's okay. There is no foundation on the route or the time to be followed. The only main point is that the task should be achieved. Then other than the COVID time as well, we have maternity and other policies in place to kind of help the women. Um, in fact, I also recently had my baby in April, and I was I was on leave for some time. My team members were managing the entire work, but they were still in touch with me. They used to keep me updated so that I don't die out of curiosity what is going on. But yes, we do have policies in place, and even if there's a if somebody wants to join in before say 6 months, they can do that, but they have the options of attending to the baby, maybe having going to their house, or coming late into the office. So all these policies are there in place. And not just for women, we also have the parental leave option for the fathers as well, which is very crucial because they also need to bond with the baby. So that is also there.
Great, yeah, great to know that you have a full women team. And what do you think what action can both women and men take to encourage a greater number of women to lead on the global goals from across sectors and industries, including business, government, academia, or civil society?
I think, as you have correctly said, women need to support women more than men support them. And men have to, realize that if we are capable of managing home and office together, we can definitely lead. Um, so that is something where they need to change their attitude and become more, generate more empathy towards us, uh, so that more and more females can come into the leadership position.
Yeah, you rightly said. I also believe that only when women support women, a real empowerment can happen. And also, I think magic can happen, right?
Right.
My last two questions. I have a lot of questions to ask, but since the time is running out, my last two questions would be, how do you feel being in the list of GCPIT's 100 global leaders?
I won't lie, I feel nice, and I feel that I can make some difference by inspiring other uh, girls and females to come to this position, to work hard, and fight against all the odds, whatever barriers, whatever challenges come across, but they should fight and achieve their dreams, I would say.
Right, and congratulations once again. And we are celebrating the Global Women in Trade Summit 2021 on March 5th. This Global Women in Trade Summit 2021.
I think it's a good initiative, Aparna, that they are doing this, and that too on 8th of March. We also have a program on 8th of March, which is along with PhD Chambers. It's open for all the women entrepreneur, especially for IP and technology transfer to enhance their knowledge in it. I think it is the summit which is there. The women entrepreneurs should take a good utilize this opportunity, connect with other women leaders and other colleagues, and make good friends, so that you can empower each other.
Right, making good friends, that is the point.
Yeah.
Connect with, I make sure that they become my lifelong friends. And congratulations once again, Pooja. It was great having you with us today, and I really enjoyed
Thank you so much, Aparna. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I hope we can do it again.
Sure. We'll keep doing this and keep learning and growing together. Wish you all the best for your future projects as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear audience, for being with us till now. Requesting you to stay tuned. We'll be back in some time with another powerful global women leader.